Здравейте на всички, аз съм Хънтър и добре дошли в 140 епизод от поредицата на Pathfinder of the Righteous. Продължаваме нашето приключение. В случая сме в нашата цитадела и пристигна капитан Хартман, който иска да ни даде някакъв репорт. Мисля, че Commander, permission to report. Captain Harmon. Т.е. той е Хаматън. Не е Хартман, а е Хаматън. Captain Hamilton looks worried. The army's disposition is growing dangerous. More and more soldiers express their distrust toward you and your mythical powers. They grumble in their lack of understanding of where you are leading them and what your plan is. What's worse, the wary have once again emerged among the officers. They are adding fuel to the fires of sedition, and we've already had cases of direct insubordination. You have to win back the trust of the soldiers forthwith, or else the army will be paralyzed. Some privates have already refused to march into battle. Това не мога да го допуснем. I suggest that we make your strategy clear by setting up a bulletin board. It could have a new statement with your name on it every week. Every 2 weeks, you could invite delegates from your soldiers to ask any questions they may have. Това звучи добре. It feels like the soldiers are discouraged and dismayed. We should embolden them by reminding them that the crusade is about more than just death and danger. This is a time of camaraderie and valor too. Maybe we could adorn the city with an inspiring monument or two, the kind that lifts your spirits whenever you walk by. Това предложение не ми се струва окей. Да, по-скоро не. Такива статуи да дигаме нещо не ме кефи като идея. Soldiers have the right to ask their generals questions, but they have no right to disobey orders simply because their curiosity isn't being satisfied. They are committing sabotage, and the penalty for sabotage is court-martial. We'll build new taverns for our soldiers and pour them free beer on the commander's behalf. That's the easiest way to win their love. The wary again? I thought we took care of that problem. Not completely, apparently. The captain makes a helpless gesture. We haven't yet solved the main issue. Far too many officers still believe that the queen herself should be in charge of the crusade. No matter how many feats you've achieved, they still consider you an upstart. We'll have to do something about them soon, but the unrest among the soldiers is the most pressing matter at hand. What do you think of the wary? They're your comrades in arms, after all. Добре. I think of them as traitors, Commander. Harmattan replies quickly and firmly, but his expression darkens for a moment. What is it exactly that my soldiers find worrying? Your mythical powers. Yes, you do look like an angel, and they say you were sent by Iomade herself. Still, until now, the only one chosen and blessed by the goddess to lead us into battle was Her Majesty. The soldiers are confused. They wonder what it all means and whether or not you're here to replace her. Добре, нека да дискутираме нашите опции. As you command. Seal, what's your plan? Не, че ми харесва нейния план, така иначе. I have doubts that explaining battle strategy will help our people in any way. They are fighting a brutal war, maybe the worst war in Galarian history. They are exhausted and scared. If we want to help them, we have to give them courage. We are already making an effort, but I would also suggest adorning our fortress with monuments. Not grim ones, but something heroic and uplifting. That way, soldiers who are about to march out, or have just marched in, will be able to smile at them like old friends. I had a marble friend like that once. The recruits in our order believe that rubbing the hilt of his stone sword would bring you good luck. Това звучи много обещаващо. Dismissing mutinous talk as exhaustion and lack of support is fundamentally wrong. Those few with conscience serve well and true as it is without question. However, those who can afford to doubt and ignore their orders are a step away from becoming deserters, who will remain deaf to any pleas and arguments, and even more so to inspiring embellishments. Reggie, what do you suggest? The inciter's body is hanging from the gallows will answer any and all questions. Sedition must be extinguished swiftly and mercilessly. It's absurd even to consider convincing or appeasing the doubtful. that could be more counterproductive. The sight of hanged bodies will absolutely stop the soldiers from asking questions, but it won't stop them from thinking them. For example, will they hang me next? Did I make a mistake by joining this army? Isn't it about time I made a run for it? Darren, your opinion please. There's a centuries-old cure for grouches and complainers, alcohol and little cheer. We'll build more taverns, supply them with strong beer, and treat the soldiers once or twice, courtesy of the treasury. They'll leave their doubts behind in the blink of an eye and proclaim you the best and most beloved commander who ever lived. I'll be the first to agree that taverns are a good thing to have, but they are not enough to support the army's fighting spirit. If we don't give our soldiers something more than drinks, our taverns will just become places to drown their sorrows or vent their frustrations through brawls. Captain Harmattan, what would you advise? If the soldiers don't understand you, then you must bridge the gap between you and them. Create means of direct communication, so to speak. We'll set up a bulletin board that will simply put keep everyone informed of the situation on the front and the basics of our strategy. In addition, we'll set up times when once every 2 weeks the soldiers can send delegates to you and ask any lingering questions. Да бе, обаче тук отваряме възможност някакви шпиони или предатели да знаят нашите планове и по този начин рискуваме живота на хората си. Тук за първи път. Значи неговото предложение по принцип най-ми харесва. Обаче крие адски много рискове. A general is under no obligation to report to their soldiers. They'll end up disputing your every word and second-guessing your orders before you know it. In some exceptional cases, a general may seek counsel from experienced veterans, but turning your headquarters into a thoroughfare is the surest way to destroy your authority. A bulletin board. Pray tell, how many of our soldiers can actually read? Maybe we should engrave this board with some obscene carvings. Then it would at least be useful. Thank you, everything is clear. Сега да видим какви са бонусите. A monument provides all units with a +5 bonus to the chance to act twice due positive combat morale. Only one monument can be built in each fort. Monument. Значи, обаче това е само във фортовете. Ще бъде като бонус. 5% chance to act twice due to positive combat morale. Въпросът е това можем ли да го правим, т.е. този бонус се дели навсякъде или е само когато се пазим в фортовете, когато защитаваме фортовете. Gallows decreases the chance to skip action due to negative combat morale by 3% for all units. Only one gallows can be built in each fort. A tavern reduces all morale effects in combat by 10%. Only one tavern can be built in each fort. Bulletin board provides units with +2 bonus to the chance to act twice due to positive combat morale and -2% bonus on the chance to skip action due to negative combat morale. Only one bulletin board can be built in each fort. Значи бюлетин борда дава малък бонус, само че на две неща. Докато тук имаме избор за малко по-силен ефект. Значи идеята на Реджио има най-слабия бонус, ми се струва. Таверната Reduces all morale effects. Това обаче може и да е кофти за нас всъщност. Добре, значи тия двете отпадат веднага. Сега, на сила ми харесва, че този монумент всъщност ни дава доста добър 5% шанс да войниче да действа 2 пъти в битка е много хубаво. Капитан Хартман обаче. Добре, на мен ми харесва най-много неговата идея. От друга страна, както казах, шанса някой да прочете тези неща, с които ние споделяме планове или да дойде пък на срещата и да е някакъв войник, който ние не познаваме и да се окаже, че е шпион и не голяма. Така че те са демони, в смисъл, но те пък могат да се трансформират в хора. Ние да не можем да ги усетиме. Значи се колебая между предложението на сила в крайна сметка и капитан Харматън. Кое да си изберем? Монумент. Добре, монумент не ми харесва толкова. Ще заложим на бюлетин борда. Glad to be of service. I'll tell the soldiers to choose their own delegates. You will have the text of your first address to our troops on your table today. Правилно. Ненио се появи. А не, това е Леди Кономи. Аз съм облякал и Ненио в една червена роба. Затова лесно се бъркаме. Lady Konami doesn't look nearly as confident or bold as before. Всеки път. Така. Commander, what a blessing it is to have you back. Mandef is in need of your help. There's been a revolt in Erosian. Ooh. The disgruntled nobles are completely out of control. They proclaimed the Royal Council dissolved and arrested several of its members. Many politicians were accused of collaborating with the demons. Some were executed, others were torn apart by the crowd. The first treasurer has fled. There's fighting in the streets between mercenaries hired by the aristocrats and guard, who is loyal to the Royal Council. Dresden has received letters from insurgents, as well as from the loyal servants of the crown, requesting your support, but both the Royal Council and I have faith that you will elect to defend the legitimate authority. This faith is not misplaced, is it? The economic grades you with a devotion you've never seen in her before. The first treasurer has fled. Така. And the guard who is loyal to the Royal Council. Dresden has received letters from insurgents requesting your support. But the Royal Council and I have faith that you will elect to defend the legitimate authority. Тоест the first treasurer, така ли? А не, искат да подкрепиме The Royal Council, който е там. The nobles. If the powerful have gone mad and are spilling blood in the streets, there is only one force that can stop them, the church. We will appeal to the clerics to intervene in this conflict. Their voices will be heard. Why would we bother saving the Royal Council? So it can keep pushing us around? I propose we publicly support the nobles. If a few esteemed elders were to depart from the council, it wouldn't be a terrible loss for the nation. The politicians have neglected their duty, but maybe the soldiers won't. There's got to be some honest generals left in Mandef. We'll ask them to bring their troops to the capital and put an end to the unrest. I know Tiefling Zaraki. She's from the River Kingdoms. She was saying something about a young state over in the Stolen Lands that managed to cobble together a proper, cohesive nation from a bunch of riffraff. Pretty slick considering how tricky it is to make them not hate each other's guts. Wanna invite them to help us patch things up. So, Nerosian first demanded, but now is asking. The situation in the capital must really be grim. You're absolutely right, Commander. I admit the Royal Council hasn't shown you the proper respect and amicability. I myself brought this to their attention on numerous occasions. Lady Konami's posture is full of repentance. But trust me when I say that none of them wished you ill, and they all shared the unshakable belief that you are the savior of our nation. Без значение. Why is there rioting in Erosian? Without Her Majesty's steady hand, the capital has fallen into decay. Some are settling old scores, others have discovered new opportunities. Mandef is accustomed to following a highly respected leader. The only one who can protect the throne from greedy hands is you, Commander. Lady Konami gives you a deep bow, exuding remorse and obedience. Тя пък сега се държи по странен начин. Очевидно много иска да спечели нашата помощ. Преди това действаше с малко така по-заплашителен тон, си спомням. What's the situation in the capital? The Royal Council, Her Majesty's most trusted civil servants and public officials, have long been in conflict with powerful Mandavian aristocrats. The former had connections and influence, and the latter had their family names, riches, and personal armies comprised of mercenaries, war knights, and commoners. For many years, their strife was latent and civilized. Coercion, bribery, intrigue. But the nobility spotted an opportune moment. They decided to overthrow the clique of dignitaries that has usurped royal power. That is what they call the council. A series of arrests ensued, but the royal council found its own supporters and retaliated. Currently, numerous aristocrats are assembling their forces in the capital. The Supreme Court building now serves as the base of operations for the new royal council, formed by the leaders of the nobility. The royal council is holding Her Majesty's castle, the treasury, and the guard headquarters. Every so often, skirmishes break out in the streets. Many civil servants have left their workplaces, and the townspeople are fleeing the city. The capital is paralyzed. I would like to hear the council's opinion. Of course, but I implore you, do not delay. Every minute counts. So, Sia, what can the church do in a situation like this? Become a living wall between the opposing sides. Call for mercy, and if necessary, warn them about heaven's wrath. People sometimes forget their conscience, and that's what clerics are for. In the end, they will remind the people that we're in the middle of a holy war. And who do you think called the shots in the Royal Council before? My good Sir Cleric. Its leaders, the Paladin and the Inquisitor. In other words, the pious people, just like the ones you want to ask for help. Darn, why should we support the nobility? They will form a new Royal Council. It's certainly possible they'll end up being exactly the same, hypocrites, bores, and schemers, but firstly, it will be a new refreshing set of hypocrites, bores, and schemers. And secondly, they will remember who it was who helped them rise to power, and won't demand every turn that we kiss their banner. So we're just going to support the insurgents, and bring even more havoc to Mendev. I get the feeling that the next parade in our honor should be held by the demons. We're doing all the work for them. You're mistaken if you think that those nobles will be better than the Royal Council. They at least knew the boundaries that had been set by the Queen, but a band of nobles who seized supreme power will believe that they are entitled to anything. Fact. Много е трудно да рискуваме с тези нови лидери, особено при положение, че не ги познаваме, не знаем кои са и какви са и за какво се борят реално. Така че може би по-скоро няма да ги подкрепим на тях, но сега ще видим, зависимост от бонусите, те могат да наклонят малко везните на моето решение. Lang, can we count on the military leaders to help us? A bureaucrat's oath is a little different from a soldier's oath. If the politicians have betrayed Mendev, its last hope is in the army. Let the troops march into Nerosian and bring order back to the streets. That will cool everyone's heads. That is a dangerous solution. The military doesn't like to surrender what they have captured, such is the mindset of a soldier. We run the risk of establishing a military dictatorship in Mendev. Red economic snarls with discontent. Give power to the belligerents. They'll order the nation around like a company of recruits on the parade deck. Years of careful diplomatic work will go to waste. No soldiers are inflexible. They cannot handle such delicate matters. Logiv. What was that about the river kingdoms? Zarasi, Elizarki, a friend of mine, was telling me about this kingdom in the stolen lands, how it was made. For centuries all kinds of rabble and outcasts were gathered there, and then this new leader appeared, and the whole mishmash became a solid nation. So it got me thinking... Те да не говорят за Kingdom in the Stolen Lands. Ново кралство в Stolen Lands, това е нашето кралство от Kingmaker. So it got me thinking, if they're so damn good at making different swords see eye to eye, maybe we could put them to use here. They might butter up some folks and give others a scare, but whatever, it'll chill the hotheads, eh? Anyone who calls on foreigners to solve their country's problems is just asking for an intervention. We have no right to show Mendev's weakness to other nations. Lady Konami, do you really expect me to support the Royal Council? Commander, neither I... Ne, Commander, neither they nor I were ever your enemies. We were doing our duty, although we may have been unwise and presumptuous on occasion, but I assure you, all mistakes have been addressed. By being generous, you will only demonstrate just how wrong the capital was about you, and teach them a lesson. Whoa, this is some small-time thief chatting up the judge stuff, Your Honor. I've seen the error of my ways. I was wrong, but I have learned my lesson. Please be generous. Cut the crap. We've been around. We know that those promises are worth. Добре, I've heard everything I need. Сега, да видим. Social. Provides holy relic. Robe of angelic prudence. This robe grants its wearer plus 4 enchantment bonus to charisma and wisdom ability scores. It also allows the wearer to cast greater angelic aspect at will. Като 20 левел клерик. Тая роба е много добра. Предвид, че може да я носим и с нашия герой, и в такъв случай може да му смениме дори и шапката и да му сложим нещо, което му дава други неща. Защото ще имаме бонус на чаризма и wisdom от робата. А ние нямаме много хубава роба, между другото, която да кажа, че е яка. Да, но support the rebellious nobles. Cloak of Astounding Prowess. Cloak of Resistance plus 5. Lands a killing blow on enemies in 50 foot radius. Must pass will saving throw or become blinded. Wow. Трябва да се признава, че това е силно. И на всичкото отгоре много ми харесва герба отзад. На това нещо. На това на металци. Адската. Наградата е добра. Gift from the Mandavian Generals. Armor. Overlord's Chainmail. Grants its wearer plus 7 inside bonus to Persuasion. Made to Intimidate. Обаче това е Medium Armor. Ако имах 4 Dexterity, тази броня нямаше да е никак лоша. Плюс 7 Inside Bonus on Persuasion Skill Checks Made to Intimidate. Тази броня ни дава така комплимент към новото развитие, което направихме в миналия... то не мога да кажем, че нали, точно го водя епизод, по-скоро в миналото представяне на как си променихме уменията на главния герой. И тази броня е точно като за него, само че ни трябва повече декстерити. Това е истината. Walgif. Masterpiece from an artisan from distant land. Elixir of inconceivable transmutations of body, soul, and also mind. Whoever drinks this elixir will permanently gain plus 2 inherent bonus to all. Това е Potion, който ни дава плюс 2 на всички ability-та. На всички ability scores. Това означава 2 strength, 2 intelligence, 2 endurance, 2 wisdom и така нататък. Тук ще бъде сложно. Са топ Potion на мен ми струва, че е най-якото нещо до момента. Идеята на Walgif, която така или иначе също ми и харесва. Lady Konami. These goggles grant their wearer plus 5 competence bonus to persuasion skill checks, as well as all lore and knowledge skill checks. Quick grasp. 15 persuasion checks. Това дали ми помага? Помага ми, да, и за intimidation, но дали ми дава Да, що му дава на Persuasion skill. Значи определено ще ми помогне и за нашите скилове. Това също е яко. Плюс 15 е адски много. Nerosian's concerns are no longer mine. Get out of my fortress, Lady Kono. Unlocks Declaring Independence Decree. All generals gain plus 7 bonus to power. Ад 100 000 финанс поинта, 10 000 материала, 4 000 energy. Independence. Страхотни бонуси, бих казал. Страхотни бонуси, чак не мога да си избера. Добре, Family Heirloom. Да съпортнем новите. Значи бих казал, че толкова, колкото и да ми харесва на вид, може би няма да е той. Holy Relic е възможност. Charisma and Wisdom. Angelic Aspect. Не е лошо. Powerful Relic Armor. Overlord's Chainmail. Колкото и да ми харесва това като броня, по-скоро няма да е тя. Лоджив. Това нещо е една от силните кандидатури. Lady Konomi също. Плюс 15 на Persuasion Skill Checks и Lore и Knowledge Skill Checks на всички, което е брутално. Goggles of Quick Grasp. Аз не знам какви артефакти ние имахме, т.е. с какво може да ги смениме. И сега, Independence, да обявиме независимост. Ще получиме страхотно много ресурси. Тежко решение. Да ги оставим да се оправят. Обаче аз не искам да пропускам ето това нещо. Просто тази награда е твърде добра с действина. Potion, който перманентно ни увеличава всичките умения с 2. Този Potion е брутален. Това е просто изключителен бонус. И единственото, което може би е сравнимо с него, това е по-слабо, със сигурност, но не е лошо като цяло. Плюс 15 Competence бонус на Persuasion Skill Checks. И да подкрепиме The Royal Council. Ще заложим на Лоджив в случая. Да изпрати писма до така наречените River Kingdoms, които да помогнат на Мендев. Мисля, че това може да сглоби един такъв много приятен съюз. Всъщност. Когато самата страна се нуждае от помощ. Макар, че е доста рисковано. Предложението на Сосиал за Холи реликвата. Хай приестовете не е лошо, но по-скоро не е. Даран, както казахме, не искаме това нещо, въпреки че на металото е страхотно. На металото е просто много силно. Генералите не искам да управляват. Independence, независимост. Това са адски много бонуси. Можем да си застроиме здраво Крузейда. Ама Крузейда да е индепендент. Мене не ми трябва да съм индепендент от кралицата и така нататък и от Мендев. Ние сме по-скоро военно формирование. Не сме кралство, че да искаме индепенденс. А и аз не съм чак особено с този герой да съм чак толкова жаден за тази власт. Предпочитам да си останаме командири. Така че ще заложим на Лоджив. И със сигурност този невероятен поушън, който ще ни увеличи всички статове с 2, е просто твърде добър за изпускане. Така че Lodgif send letters to the River Kingdoms. Mendef needs your help. I'll drop a line to Zarki. So she doesn't get us some random nobody. She should find like the best advisors there. Maybe like a counselor. Sounds neat, eh? A foreign counselor has arrived in the capital to give everyone responsible a good whooping. What if they're a troll or something? The River Kingdoms is one lucky place, you know. I apologize once more for all the misunderstandings we've had in the past, Commander. I thank you and I won't take any more of your time. As soon as the situation in Erosian changes, I will immediately convene the Diplomatic Council to give you a full report. Добре, справихме се и с това нещо. Така. Яваме сега какво се случва на голямата карта. Дали не се появиха армиите? Това е много, много интересно. Straightening the chain of command. The chain of command of the crusade has been straightened. The staff council requests that the crusade leader attend their meeting and receive an update report. Wow. Имаме 22 000. Трябва да си купим всичките войници тук. Въпросът е къде са на генералите. Аз не искам да купувам втори генерал само. Тук сега няма как да стане направо. Ето така. Се разкарайте вие. Така, тук. А тук пък са паладините сега. Паладините могат да се върнат в Дрезен, където ще закупиме останалата част от тях. Аз помежду другото имам много малко ресурси. О, ние имаме харден ветерани някакви. Са някакви яки войници, добре. Куирсиърс. Чърч гардовете също ще ги купиме. Щом има. Ги купуваме. Така. Само трябва да видим как и дали ще мога да си върнем генералите, това е въпрос. Да, това го чухме. Strengthening Diplomatic, така. Unholy Symbol. Economy нямаме. Арми. Това трябваше да го... Да. Glory to the Heroes ли? Crusade? Не, това не ни трябва. Helping those in need. И това не ни трябва в момента. Relic. Enchanting the unholy symbol. Добре. И имам още страшно много неща за правене тук. Адър за момента няма какво. Това е, че нашите генерали ги няма. Защо не мога да ги... Един ден и 23 часа пише. Трябва да минат, за да можем да ги рекрютнем или какво? Май да. Добре, за сега чакаме в такъв случай. Така, друго няма какво да правим за момента тук. Всъщност, може би трябваше да погледна дали... Да, сега пак ще се върнем за секунда само, защото не съм сигурен, че сме вкарали абсолютно всичките си съветници да правят разни неща. Мисля, че включихме дипломация, включихме още нещо. Сега ще видим. Трябва да направим един рест. Но първо ще се разходим из града. Така. Като гледам, да, нямаме всъщност какво да правим. Добре. Всичко е наред. Може би трябваше да пусна някакви неща да се строят, но за сега няма да го правим. Аз не мисля, че имаме много ресурси по случая. Но пък за сметка на това наближаваме 2 милиона голд, така че можем да си купуваме ресурси колкото ни трябват. В случай, че има нещо важно за правене сега. Аз исках да ресна. Какви са ни квестовете? Пълни сме с квестове. City Focus. Така, find Motosafe. Добре, ще го търсим. Find Captain Selkine. Perhaps the captain can be found in an area where his patrol perished. The place must have drawn his interest if he sent soldiers to investigate. Spinner of Nightmares. Така. He receives to know certain currently Spinner of Nightmares currently is. Is wounded, thus he reluctantly surrendered his right to battle his nemesis. Добре, това го знаем къде е. Find the entrance to ineluctable prison. Although Baphomet is neither the mightiest nor the most bloodthirsty of demon lords, he is lauded as the most devious kind. His intricate spells conceal his prison from unwanted visitors. Аха. What has become of the queen? Добре. Dawn of Dragons. Трябва да отидем към тази гробницата на драконите. Help Journey in Chili Creek. Chili Creek е единственото място, което е посока различно от това, което трябва. The secret shrine is under threat. The demon called Motosafe and his legion army there. Трябва да отидем там. The light within. Iomede herself revealed that her herald was not killed but imprisoned. Трябва да намерим Hand of the Inheritor. Learn Queen Galfrey's fate. The proud and overconfident queen has gone missing, somewhere in the depths of the world. Значи тук имаме три неща, които трябва да направим от към митичната страна на квестите. Трябва да отидем в Шрайна на полуора, поне това знаем къде е. Не знаем още как да отидем при Хенда и не знаем кралицата къде е, съвсем. Companion's Quest. Така, more nothing, добре. Finian's Awakening. Deal with the Bladesmith. At last, the path into the heart of the world wound is open to the commander. Besides being a step toward accomplishing great deeds, this is an opportunity to awaken Finian fully by defeating his nemesis and creator, the Bladesmith. Сега ще пробваме да говорим с Finian, да видим. The final verdict. Visit the Hell Knight outpost. Visit Orishey's dream. Това сега е в града, него ще го направим. Окей. Bring down to the place marked by the Inquisitor. Имаме endgame. Capture all regions of the world. Develop all aspects of the crusade to maximum. Окей. In the pursuit of the past. Може би трябва да говорим с Storyteller, защото аз мисля, че имам още страници от неговите неща. Restoring the demon. Можем да го ресторнем, що ме светло това. Май имаме достатъчно материали. Between the lines. Show Galfrey's letter to the storyteller. Добре. Трябва да говорим с storyteller. Тук сме говорили с всички. Така. Първо ще говорим с всички в града. С това ще направим арест. Between the lines. Къде беше ОРИШЕЙЛ обаче? Добре, да отиваме до Streets и сега ще видим абсолютно всички и какво е тяхното мнение по въпросите, които трябва. Не ми забивай. Така. Така, тук имаме капитан Даун. Няма да се видим с него. Той сега ще ни каже what can I do for your commander. You seem nervous when we were discussing the attack on Storm Peak. What's the matter? Dawn's face looks bold, fragile, and rigid, as if it were made of glass. I was imagining the sacrifices this bloody assault will exact, thinking of the soldiers who would never go back to their homes, and remembering the day that changed me forever. Мисля, че не прочетох. Капитан Дан gives you a polite note. Да, това пропуснахме. That day at the end of autumn, when my warriors charged into the fire and became ashes in memory, the day for which I was named a hero, and whose guilt will haunt me until the day I die. Tell me about that day. Oh, I can describe it in great detail. I return there every night as I fall asleep. I remember how it sounded as the outpost was consumed by flames. I remember counting my soldiers after every attack, every bleeding wound or gap that had opened in our ranks, how people threw themselves into the boiling river to escape the burning air. And naturally, I remember how it felt to be the last, to be the only one left. But I won't recount the specifics to you. This is my nightmare, and burdening my leader with it would be treasonous. Why are you tormented by guilt? I could have done more. I could have saved at least someone. It's true, I didn't hide behind my comrades' backs, and the wounds I took in that battle nearly killed me. Извинете. But still, I could have done more. What it comes down to is that it's just not fair that I survived when everyone who trusted me with their lives died. If there is justice in this world, my survival atones for it, affronts it. Why did you stay in the army after that? Odell smirks bitterly. Because they called me a hero. I was so ashamed at that moment. I knew that they were the heroes, the ones who would never leave the outpost. Their heroism was my undeserved glory, and it was thrust onto my shoulders with all the weight of an order. I swore that I would carry my burden until I became worthy of my brothers and sisters in arms. I am guilty of receiving the glory that their valor made rightfully theirs. Thank you for telling me this. I am a soldier. Soldiers aren't made for easy lives. Something subtle has changed in his expression, as if some unseen visor has been slid back over his face, marking the end of that moment of painful sincerity that arose between you. Добре. Така. Тук са поправени тези неща. Някакво ангелче. May heaven be with you, brother. Сега, въпросът е, имаме ли някакви неща тук по стените? По-скоро не. Storyteller отвънка. Давайте да ходим да говорим с него. По принцип е хубаво да проверяваме навсякъде из града какво се случва, тъй като може да има някакви нови неща, които не са ни показани на картата. My storyteller friend, how are you? О, мале, тук са... The blind elf whispers something under his breath. Hearing your steps, he turns to you slowly. Greetings, Justin, have you brought me a new story? Nocticula spoke well of you. She says hello. The old elf's face is as blank as a porcelain mask. Her favor flatters me, and the memories of the times when I was younger warm my heart, but also fill me with other darker feelings, such as shame. It's sad to remember how foolish and self-satisfied I was back then, how much I enjoyed the fear and respect of the spawn of the abyss surrounding me, and how completely I belonged to the lady in shadow who charmed me at the moment we met. In those days, I was different. Please examine the items I am carrying. Така. Radiance. Нещо ново за Radiance ще ни кажеш ли? Не. Добре. Трябваше да говорим с Финиан. Забравих за Финиан. Give the storyteller mangled demon helmet and the necessary materials. Restore this relic for me. Sketching arcane symbols with his hands, the storyteller begins to reforge the damaged helmet. The hides turn into straps and the metal into armor plates, which are tempered in mixture of demon blood and magic essence. The owner of this item was called the Shy Lily. He was a murderer. No, he was a master of the art of slaughter. A missionary of violence whose deeds were a source of delight and horror. But even his fame faded when he met a truly destructive power. Добре. Your past. Ние сме си говорили за тия неща. Интересно, че май не мога да му давам повече... може би нямам. Да, аз нямам. Ние нали се видяхме когато бяхме в Ада, той се появи в кулата на магиосника, така че аз съм му дал всичките Elven Notes там и съответно сега нямам такива. Добре. You mentioned you could use this letter to tell me about Queen Galfrey's feelings. The storyteller's fingers touch the paper softly, his nail carefully tracing along the lines as if he can see them. The moon is peering into my window, the sole observer of my weakness. Dresden is quiet, almost as if I am the only one in the fortress at this hour of the night. I am alone, utterly, always. I pick up the quill and shake off a drop of ink that threatened to fall on the paper, which would have ruined what is already my third draft of this letter. Why am I writing it? He will never read it. I falter, the quill poised over the paper, but my hesitation doesn't last. I don't know where you are, my hand writes. When was this? On the eve of the Queen's departure from Dresden, the next morning she ordered her forces to march on east. Is Dresden ever that quiet? Unlikely, but I am telling you of Galfrey's feelings as she was writing this letter. One's perception of the outside world can vary at times. Добре, please continue. My hand is shaking. My heart pounds in my chest like a bird trying to break free from its cage. My eyes fog over. I wipe a tear from my cheek. What is happening to me? Where did this feeling of guilt come from? I have always acted as duty commanded, always. A deep breath. I think the shaking has stopped, but the hand that's holding the quill can barely move. Forgive me. I write down the last words of the letter he will never see. Forgive me, forgive me. What exactly was Galfrey feeling? Guilt or something else? I cannot answer that question definitively. I merely touched upon her thoughts, taped into a faint trace of her feelings. But I can say one thing for certain. Those feelings were strong. The pain the Queen was going through was very much real. Thank you, storyteller. There's no need for gratitude. I rather think I should be begging your forgiveness. It seems I have inadvertently been made privy to personal matters between you and Queen Galfrey. I will try to refrain from such intrusions into your private affairs from now on. The storyteller lowers his head sheepishly. I wish you interesting adventures. Интересно. Значи кралицата ни харесва, бих могъл да кажа. Съдейки по това писмо и всичко, което се случва. Дургелинда какво ново има при нея, нищо ново. Така. Астрал Дейва. Добре. Лоджив, какво става, братчето ми? Logic gives you a friendly wave, hey chief, on a talk. Ние май говорихме с него, така че нищо ново няма тук. С тези сме си говорили. Няма какво става насам. Има някакви ангели тук. Commoner. Така, Arcane Weaver. Тези бяха някакви продавачи. Да видим какво имат за нас. Дали имат някакви интересни артефакти. Divine power to summon a creature, they can choose to give this creature's attack either holy or unholy special quality. If the wearer of this robe has Kai pull, the rope increases it by 2. If the wearer is of lawful alignment, it grants 2 bonus on attack rolls against chaotic enemies. Това е яко за лаун, всъщност. Ние имаме почти 2 милиона, което е страхотно. Whenever the wearer of this robe uses divine power to summon creature. Ще помислиме. Аз призовавам доста свещени кричери с главния ни герой именно. Така че може да се замислиме за този артефакт. Knowledge, Persuasion, Enchantment bonus to Charisma. Glows of the Ambassador. Skinned Letter Cloak. Мисля, че го имахме това. Може и ние да сме го продали тук. Lesser Glows of Dueling. Glows of Dueling. Celestial Protection. Resistance. Bonus on saving throws against demons and plus 5 bonus on Lore Legion. Bracers of Animal Fury. Grant the wearer plus 3 enchantment bonus on attack and damage rolls wherever the wearer is polymorphed. Не. The Pelt Cloak. Resistance grants wearer immunity to fire. Living Flame. Harm Undead. Дрън. Слава. Cloak of Resistance на плюс 5 тежестта. Cloak of Resistance на плюс 6. This glows grants the wearer and his animal companion plus 3 inside bonus on attack and damage rolls for the duration of the animal focus ability. Какво? Какво е Animal Focus Ability? Не го знам. Не го знам какво е това в Animal Focus. Иначе тия ръкавици са много надежни. И ще да си ги взема веднага. Плюс 3 атак бонус и демидж за нас и за Animal Companion. Това е много яко. Звучи страхотно, обаче не знам. А ние трябваше ли да купуваме някакви Resurrection скролове, нещо? Нямам никакъв спомен. Имаме тук разни лонди. Някакви пръчици магически. Много скролове. Добре, за сега няма да купуваме, може би, скролове. Значи тук имаше един-два интересни артефакта. Тук сега има много неща. 2DC saving throws against mind affecting. 5 competence bonus persuasion. Skill checks. Fist на плюс 3 ги имаме. Flexure of negative energy. Goals of pure sight. These goals allow the wearer to take 20 on their next dispel magic attempt once per day. They also grant plus 1 bonus to caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. On the next dispel magic attempt. Ти ги купувам директно без да ги мисля. Имаме Ring of Protection. Тук мога да си сложим много... плюс 5. Амулет в Mighty Fists. Това звучи много добре. Headband плюс 6 Charisma, плюс 6 Intelligence Wisdom. Амулет в Natural Armor. Kinetic диадеми. Не ни трябва, ние нямаме кинетицист. Но е този амулет в Mighty Fists на плюс 5 е жесток за кончето. Scroll of Blasphemy. Не ни трябва диаманти. С някъде мога ли да видя колко диаманта имам? Те се седат при квест нещата. Имам 21 диамант. Това е доста. Мисля да си вземем едни 4. Е така. Нещо е такова. Лекичко. Така. И тук няма нищо друго. Добре. А тук какво имаме? Един момент, че ми се видя нещо интересно при квест нещата. Letter from Venture Captain Hiller. Тия неща ги... Да, те са ясни. Добре. Burning Brand. You acquire this item on Explorer Colifir Mines. Став някакъв. Интересно. Така, тук е Даром. Имаше ли някой друг насам? Не. Я да говорим с Дарън. Аз не мисля, че... трябваше с него сега... Чакайте да се... На него трябва да му кажем да го закараме на това място, което инквизитора ни спомена. Не, това не трябва да му го казваме. Learn about the other and is preparing a trap for them and for you. Добре. The other, ще се опитаме Дарън да го изчистиме от The other. Така. Съответно няма да му казваме за него. Сега, тук бяхме навсякъде. Blacksmith, така. Lady Konami, можем ли да говорим нещо интересно с нея? След това ще отидем при One Eyed Devil. ОРИШЕЙЛ, Арсено е тук, Нистра е тук. Коя е Нистра, не съм сигурен. А ОРИШЕЙЛ къде е? Къде беше ОРИШЕЙЛ? Чакайте сега, Companion Quests. It seems the conversation of born fruit. ОРИШЕЙЛ has understood something, or at least things. Since every hypothesis must be tested, it is time to visit the world of James once again. Добре, ама тя къде седи? ОРИШЕЙЛ. Сега трябва да търсим като за световно. Така, Леди Конами. Нищо ново от нея. Добре. Аз не я виждам никъде. Аз минах покрай One Eyed Devil. Show me wares. Той по какво продаваше? Чакайте сега. Тук може да има някакви интересни материалки, които можем да си вземем. Така, тя брони, слави, така. Тук какво има? Флеймтон. Не, няма неща, които да ни трябва, честно казвам. Експорт лопик. Нямаме нужда от такива работи. To the inn. А ние в Ина всъщност май говорихме с всички. Ще посетиме Ненио да видим. Тук някой интересен? Не. Тук имаме Хилор и Ненио. Ние бяхме тук миналия път. Няма да видим Ненио. Нещо не може да си говорим с нея. Не може. Добре. Значи отиваме към кръчмата. Сега в кръчмата там ще се срещнем с... Въпросът е къде е ОРИШЕЙЛ. Само това се чува. One Eyed Devil говорихме с него. Тук е Artisan Jewelry. Тук някой друг ме беше взел магазина. Не съм сигурен. Ама май не е. Не, тук няма никой. Това джуджето, което ни измами, което беше от лошите всъщност. Си е тръгнало и няма никой друг тук. Добре, half measure. Ето е ОРИШЕЙЛ, супер. Добре. Fade Townkeeper, face sitting on the counter, swinging legs. Upon seeing you, he waves. Greetings, Justin. Чакайте да видим какво всъщност може да ни предлага той. Тук има някакви неща. Throwing Axe. За жалост няма никой на Throwing Axe, иначе това е страхотна брадвичка. 10 competence on perception. Whenever the wearer confirms a critical hit with any ball, the lead becomes disoriented. Suffering minus 4 penalty on initiative, attack rolls, athletic and perception. Тези гогълс също са много яки. Затова ги взимам. Така. Аз си спомням, че имаше някакви ресурси, които не бяха малко. А бяха много нужни. Щеше да е хубаво някъде да пише колко имаме от съответното нещо. Мисля, че нямаме достатъчно райс, затова го взимам целия. Mix of demonic poisons. Имаше едни демонични неща, които ни трябваха. Mutated fish мисля, че нямам достатъчно. Flame tone. Имаше някакъв... Нещо демонично ни трябваше, ама не беше demonic poisons. За да правим тази демоничната супа. Аз също си имам и неща за продаване. Така. Аз имам някакви яки брони, обаче тия мислех да не ги продавам за сега. Тук тези неща не бяхме решили какво ли. О, ето го шлема. This helmet is imbued with demonic powers. The wearer gets plus 4 profane bonus to strength and plus 2 profane bonus to AC. То шлем е много як. Ето това нещо. Crystallized Demonic Rage ни трябва. Вече имам много райс, така че няма какво да се притесняваме за него. Другите ресурси като цяло е много, освен може би Cinder Bloom, Mandrake Root. И да видим какво може да попълним тук. Нямам много такива, айде да парализираме. Тези имам. Cinder Bloom нямам много. Pixie Dust. Така. Mandrake Root. Тук няма обаче. А тук даже няма Mix of Demonic Poisons. Въобще. Phoenix Feather. Аз по-направо ще ги взема тия неща. Те струват по 20 голд. Няма причина да не ги вземем. Имаме си бътър, имаме си чиз. Яйца, мисля, че имаме също. Само, че не ги виждам. Имаме си, да. Другите ресурси мисля, че ги имаме достатъчно. Брашно. Имаме много. Purifying Solutions 29. Не. Ще си взема 10. Така, добре. Повече от тия неща не трябва. Друг фон. Тук има полшани. Полшани на нас не ни трябват. Ние мисля, че хванахме един изключително добър. You acquired this wax pro and resin. Така. Onion soup. Добре, защо има You don't know this recipe. Mulled wine. You already know this recipe. Чакайте са, аз имам ли някакво рецепи, което не съм... Защото ми пише, че сме го acquire, нали? Интересно. Значи mulled wine реално го нямаме. Добре. Сега ще го прояваме. Така. Copy recipe. Ето. Така, тук нещата ги приключихме. Сега. Идваме да се видим набързо с Грейбор. Дали той има нещо да ми казва. Няма. Добре. Тук някой интересен характер няма. Време е за ОРИШЕЙЛ. Вижте колко време само не мога да си излезем от града. Обикновено винаги има така един момент. Let's go to your dream. Let's do it. Can't wait to finally solve this riddle. Oh, but there's a glimpse of concern appears on the succubus' eager face. My nightmare. It's still in there. Usually he doesn't show up at all, but I think he will attack us when we start altering the very nature of my dream. Better get ready for battle. Аз не съм реснал обаче. Но нека да видим какво ще стане. Orisheyl touches your hand, real world fades around. Сега обаче нямаме магии. Така че каквото е тук ще трябва да го бием с каквото имаме. Ние да сме реснали и това ще може да е проблем. Orisheyl's dream seems even darker and emptier than before. The smell of smoke and ash lingers in the cold air. You can't see the nightmare, but you can feel it watching you from the dark. The succubus approaches the table reverently, as if approaching a holy altar. Then she hesitates. When Desna asked me, "What do you dream of?" I didn't know anything about dreams. I've been trying to imitate mortals, but I never really understood what I was doing. I filled my dream with so many things, but now I understand why they all burned so easily. They were not real dreams, but how should I put it? Mortals don't actually dream about objects. They dream about ideas. Filling my dreams with those items was like stealing a roadside sign from its stake, and then claiming I had an entire town in my hands. Anivia isn't really dreaming about a loaf of bread. Her dream is about a whole new life. A life where there's no war. A life where she lives in her own house and bakes bread for her beloved. I'm sure that if I asked anyone about the things I stored here, they'd tell me why those things are in their dream worlds. The worlds where they find happiness. Did Anivia's words give you any ideas? Check this out. If you want, I can try to help you understand your dreams. Yes, you may be the only one who can. I don't think anyone in the universe knows me better than you. This table didn't burn because it was part of my true dream, a part of the world where I'm happy. Now I just have to find out what this world looks like. Orisheyl closes her eyes. The world of my dreams is so close. I can almost see it. Almost. A teapot is on the table. Ooh, появи се тази година. Orisheyl whispers quietly. You can barely hear her words, but as she speaks, the world changes around you. The smell of smoke and ash is replaced by the fragrant aroma of freshly brewed tea. The teacups are full and dream is rising from... the teacups are full and steam is rising from them. There is a spot of spilled jam, cookie crumbs. I must have baked cookies. Nightmare spawn. Planning to drink some tea? A hissing voice full of bitter hatred can be heard in the darkness. You used to drink souls before. How many living souls did you kill, you fiend? How many did you torture to death? You don't deserve a life like this. I've done many terrible things. Orisheyl's voice is quiet but firm. I've ruined many lives, and I'll be paying for that as long as I live. I will fight until we close the world wound, and even after that, as long as there is evil on Golarion, but I will not give up on my dream, whatever it is. Without it, I won't have the strength to fight. I'll make you pay with your life.
Defeat is not an option.
Няма магии. Няма никакви магии. Какво имам тогава? Имам Summon. Oh yeah. And now we have an army.
Do not hold back.
Ауч! Леко бе! Ако се опитваш да ми кажеш, че това беше битката, ORISHEYL stops to catch her breath. These nightmares will never leave me alone. I know that I deserve them, but it's so hard to fight them off over and over again. You cannot have dreams without nightmares. They are the price you must pay for your humanity. Yes, I know. Thank you for helping me fight them off. Let's continue. ORISHEYL closes her eyes surrounding the table. I see a house, a large spacious kitchen, a ray of sunlight coming in through the window, the branches of apple trees swaying outside. You want to have a house of your own, my venomous butterfly. Dalmatia's charred, ghostly face is twisted with hatred. You've deprived me of my home twice. First you took Elysium from me, then I found myself a new refuge in the abyss. But you've destroyed that too, and now you dare to dream of a house of your own? I've wronged you badly. I feel guilty. I'm not trying to make excuses. There's nothing I could say that would excuse what I've done, but you're dead, Dalmatia. I'll never forget you, but I'll not let you take my life. You don't have the right to live.
We will prevail.
Oh yeah. Тя направо ги пръсна. Тичайте бързичко. Така. Easy. ORISHEYL looks pale as she wipes away the sweat and tears from her face. You're so close to finding your dream. You're almost there. Yes, I want to see it through the end. A kitchen, a teapot on the table, and who's sitting at the table? Look, that's me. And there's you. We're chatting, laughing. You're holding my hand with such tender affection. So this is my dream. All this time, my dream has been about you. About a house that we could call our own. About friendship. No, about love. And maybe even a family. Family, isn't that the word mortals use to describe the people who fill them with happiness? The people they love and can't live without. You can't be happy, you scum. You don't deserve happiness. Nightmare's hiss growls into a deafening roar. I will be happy. She looks the monster straight in the eye. Do whatever you want to me, but my dreams are mine forever.
Stand with me.
Така, тук съм много. Аз искам евентуално да посрещна някой, който пристига насам, така че оставаме тук. Междувременно нашите астрални ангелчета направо ги побъркват. Сега тя ще ги пръсне с една стрела сигурно. О, да. Яко. The monster is gone and all is peaceful once more.
Live here in the world of mortals with you. I have solved the goddess's riddle. This is my true dream.
The monster is gone and all is peaceful once more. The smell of freshly baked cookies wafts through the air and steam rises from cups of hot fragrant tea that have been set out on the table. ORISHEYL gazes around her longingly. You have never seen her so happy.
love you. Will you be with me? Will you share my dream?
Orishey's slender body is bathed in kaleidoscope of colors, and for a moment she is completely surrounded by hundreds of fluttering blue butterflies. She stares at you with shining eyes. Колко романтично. How do you feel?
I've never felt better. Everything that I hated about myself is gone. I look at you and I don't feel hunger. I don't want to kill. All the unholy cravings I experienced as a demon, they're all gone. Now I just want to be happy, to live and to love.
What's going on? What's happening to you?
Freedom. Finally, after all these years, I can feel it. The abyss has released me from its clutches. I have solved Desna's riddle and have found my dream. I have found you. I am not a monster anymore.
So your touch no longer joins the life from others?
No. I am not a monster anymore. Not a predator, not a weapon. Just a woman, like any other female mortal.
Orishey looks down at her slender fingers. Slowly, apprehensively, she reaches out to touch you. You feel the warmth of her soft skin as she gently strokes your hand. She looks at you timidly. Her trembling lips are parted slightly and her breath is uneven. You know exactly what she wants and what is she afraid to say. I don't know if we'll ever have a home of our own, but wherever we wind up, in a castle or in a leaky tent, we'll be together.
Yes. Who knows how and when this war will end, or what lies ahead of us. But you and I will face every twist of fate together.
Oh yeah! Завършихме романса. И приключихме с враждата между демоните и ангелите. Her lips tremble slightly, but she returns your kiss eagerly. She is being careful, gentle, trying not to hurt you. However, once she realizes that you remain unarmed, her timidity gives way to desire. The former succubus has long shown incredible restraint, suppressing her passions for years, but now, as her lips meet yours, she holds nothing back.
This is our happiness, our dream, an Elysium of our own.
The scent of flowers hangs heavily in the midair, and a jubilant melody fills your ears. Orishey kisses you again and again as she whispers. Добре. Супер! Ще видим къде ще свършим обаче. Че предвид това, че трябва да затворим The World Wound и има шанс да не продължим след това. Тоест нашия герой да загине. Та ще видим къде ще отиде този романс. The dream world fades away, but Orishey is still in your arms. The kiss you shared in the dream now continues in reality. She presses up against you and you can feel the heat of her body beneath your clothes. Touch Orishey's shoulder. Now you can do whatever you want. Orishey's whole body shivers with expectation at your touch. You feel the heat of her fingers. She intertwines them with your own. Do you want more?
I want everything. Everything I've never known before. Everything I've been waiting to experience for so long.
Let's go somewhere no one will bother us.
Yes. Let's go.
She squeezes your hand from me. Alright. As soon as you close the door of the study, the two of you fall into each other's arms. And time ceases to exist. You explore every inch of her skin and her body once an instrument of torture and murder becomes a vessel overflowing with tenderness and joy. When she reaches the peak of pleasure, you smell the fragrant flowers from her dream. She moans in delight. The room becomes a garden filled with wondrous plants of Elysium.
As a succubus, well, I've done plenty of things in my lifetime. But what we just did was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was the first time I've ever felt love and tenderness.
Orishel sighs in contentment. She breathes in deeply, inhaling the fragrance of the flowers. Виж как ни се промени стаичката, между другото, и цветята се появиха и така, и въобще цялата обстановка се промени стабилно.
I was so worried that my dream world was the only place I would find redemption. I was afraid that when I returned to reality, I would be a bloodthirsty monster again. But you taught me to see the difference between dreams and reality. The difference between thoughts and deeds. You showed me the importance of the real world. When I took the first steps on this path to redemption, I spent so much time living inside my own head. But you changed that. You introduced me to the mortal world. You made me a part of your life. And together, we have accomplished so many amazing things.
She looks around at the flowers of Elysium. Really? What did I do?
So many things. There are too many to name. For instance,
Orishel thinks for a moment.
do you remember Aurelu's lab? The demon got into my head and revealed my horrible thoughts and unholy desires to everyone. Anyone else would have sent me away right then, but you taught me that I shouldn't confuse desires with deeds. It was my actions, not my thoughts, that mattered. My desires did not warrant punishment from myself or anyone else.
Точно така.
What happened in Winter Sun truly terrified me. For a while, I stopped believing that my own life was real. An entire village built their life on lies. What if I had done the same? But you dispelled all my doubts. You convinced me that I was real and that my world was real too. You taught me to trust myself, to trust reality again. I was so afraid of returning to the 10,000 delights. I knew that I was bound to meet some of my old acquaintances there, but you protected me from them. You didn't let them knock me off balance. In the slums of Illusioniera, I told you about my time in the city. I shared the one good memory I had of Illusioniera, and you showed me how to turn that simple memory into a good deed. Did my actions make a difference? Did I help that small demon in any way? I don't know. You taught me how easy it is to bring a small measure of hope and goodness into the world, and how much joy can be found in a single act of kindness. You see now? If it hadn't been for you, I would still be lost in my fears, illusions, and doubts.
When we are together, what does it feel like?
Feels like freedom. Impossible, indescribable freedom. I can give myself fully to you, and I'm not afraid that you'll hurt me. When I reach for you, I know my touch will bring you happiness. If the demons could feel what I feel with you, even for a moment, they wouldn't want to be controlled by anger and selfishness for another second.
Освободихме я, да?
They think they have achieved true freedom, but they don't know what true freedom
От злата
is.
част. Ще видим какво ще стане, когато обаче играем с злия герой. These flowers, what are they?
They're the flowers of Elysium. But how did they get here? Perhaps it's a gift from the goddess. Or perhaps our happiness summoned them into our world. All I know is that it's a miracle. I can't explain how these flowers appeared, but I believe that they're a good omen, a sign of new life.
Orishel gives you a radiant smile. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here with you.
I know, I feel the same. The real world is waiting for us. So big, and yet so fragile. We'll save it, together, and then we'll come back here, to a place as real as our happiness. We'll return to our very own Elysium.
But we can stay here a little longer, can't we? Orishel says nothing but leans in for a kiss. Тъй така. Това ли беше? Да. Вижте как ти се промени стаята тук с тия растеница, работи. Много яко. Orishel. No more fear. Just freedom and happiness. Супер. Така, исках обаче също така да посетиме този чест. Short spear. Skimter. White mace. Сега си мисля някои от тези неща, с които разполагаме, дали може да ги използваме по някакъв начин. Но нашите компаньони пък не ползват всички тия неща, които имаме. А броните, дали може да ги използваме за някакви работи? Няма да ги видим тия брони. Каквото не ни трябва, ще го... Ще го пенсионираме. Enforcing gaze. Ние нямаме такива неща. All round defense. Back to back не използваме такива неща. Braces of breaching. На piercing damage. Само аз мога да ги нося тези engraved lucky bracers. Bracers of armor ще ги продадеме. Това не ни трябва вече. Това не ни трябва със сигурност. Твърде е слабо. Mighty Constitution няма да ни трябва най-вероятно. The Stern Hand. This pack gauntlets grants the wearer's animal companion as well as Zata Dragon or Lich Skeletal Champion plus 6 bonus strength. At the beginning of the battle, the creature must pass will saving throw, starts attacking party members. Да, това беше гадния ефект. Нашия кон няма никакъв will save, съответно The Stern Hand не ни помага. Да. Трябва да някой компаньон, който има някоя животинка, която има много will save. Това пръстен е за продаване. Тези пръстени са за продаване. Shapeshifter's Helm. Wild Shape. Никой не се трансформира. Living Flame. Това не мисля, че някой ще го използва. White Wind's Cloak. Precise Strike. Това ще го запазим. Skint Letter си го запазваме. Това не ни трябва. 4 бонус to Initiative. Physical Form. Physical Flow. Rage. Няма никой с Rage. Ама да ще го запазя за сега, защото не се знае. Whenever the wearer of this amulet uses a hex, the DC of the saving throw against it is increased. Mental Flow. Ти неща за какво съм ги запазил? Positive Channeling. Lesser. Lesser няма да ни трябва. Natural Armor плюс 1. Това е слабо, трябва да се продаде. Positive Channeling. Това ще си го запазим със сигурност. Така, тук какво остана? Броните трябва да видим коя ще ползваме и коя няма да ползваме. Другите неща трябва да ги продам със сигурност. Тук сега имаме страшно много артефакти. Добре, аз в общи линии, така или иначе сега, че няма да ви занимавам с моя артефакт менеджмент или инвентори менеджмент. Както и да му казваме, все сме напълно прави. За това мисля да сложим край на епизода тук. След нашата малка романтична история, аз ще се заемам с това да разпределям артефактите ни. Ние обаче нещо не сме реснали. Ние можем ли да реснем тук още? Аз паса не мога да си легна на леглото, Интересно. Защото не сме си върнали Smite Evil и другите неща. Ама както и да е. Да. Благодаря ви, че гледахте. Надявам се да ви е било забавно. Желая всичко хубаво и чао, чао.